Studio.
First, I'm going to show you a game that we're working on that so far has 0 audio. Let's take a look. So when I pick up these coins and gems, you don't hear anything. I've just imported the Master Audio package. So we're going to open up the Master Audio Manager window, create the Master Audio prefab, go in there and lock it so we can add multiple files. We'll close the section that we don't need. Now I'm going to turn off group templates because that's only for dragging in one file at a time. We're going to say one group with variations. So if I drag in 5 clips at a time, it's going to create one sound group with 5 variations. That's what I wanted it to do. So let's go take a look at that group we've created. Settings icon. Now I want to change the name. Coins. Now there's 5 variations underneath it. I actually want to put them in order. So I'll drag them up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I'm wanting to create a sound group that plays all 5 of these in order. I'm going to change the setting here, variation sequence, top to bottom instead of random. And so it'll play 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and after 5 seconds of not playing it, it'll reset back to 1. Now I'm going to go modify the coin prefab so that when it despawns, it will trigger the sound. Here's the coin prefab. We're going to add a script called event sounds, and this has a lot of different coded events, so you don't have to write any code. To trigger sounds and sound actions, we'll need to check the pooling events sound because we want despawned, spawned, and despawned to only show up if you check that. You can use Pool Manager or our spawning from Core Game Kit. Then just pick the sound from the drop down called coins, and that's it. Let's hit play and take a look. On the mixer view, you should be able to see the voice count turn from 0 to 1 and the LED meter go up every time we got a coin. That seems to be working just fine. We heard all 5 in a row. Let's do the first 2 again, and then I'll wait 5 seconds and make sure that it goes back to the first one, not to number 3. Perfect. We're going to create a second sound group now that plays its variations in random order, not top to bottom. So I'll just drag 1 in to create the group, then we'll go into the group and drag the other 2 sounds in. You can do that if you don't know them all up front. So we've got 3 variations. Let me collapse those. And we'll just leave it on randomized. That's what we want. We'll go pick a prefab, the diamond. And when it despawns, we need pooling events. When it despawns, it will play that sound, jewel. So let's go ahead and try that. See if it works right. Keep an eye on the mixer, voice count on the left, the yellow bracketed number, and the LEDs. Yeah, that works. It's playing random sounds for the gems. The third sound we're going to create is for that magic trail that goes and opens the door when you step on the floor panel. Here's the sound. Let's create the group. But I wanted to show you, it's still an audio clip. If we change this to resource file and we drag a file from under a folder called resources or a subfolder, if we configure it like this, it actually won't take up any audio memory except while it's being played. Now you can change the setting here if you don't want to have to redrag it. Now let's make this sound trigger when the particle becomes spawned. So event sounds again. Let's use the spawned event and play the magic trail. Let's see if it works, and I'm going to open the profiler so you can see the audio memory change when the resource file gets unloaded. By the way, you should only use resource files for things that aren't played very often because the loading and unloading can be attacks on the CPU. Or for playlists, I do advise to use resource files for all music. You watching that graph over there on the audio profiler? I'm going to pause it as soon as it's done playing. Now see there, the audio memory, and it gets reduced there, and the number of voices is stopped. It got unloaded. One more sound effect for when you destroy the skull. Let's create it, rename it, and let's go trigger it from the skull prefab. Here it is. I'm using an Ngui sprite, but it doesn't matter. Could use anything. Again, we're going to use the despawned event, and we will play the sound we just created, Skull Destroy. Now there is a problem here. It can only play one at a time. I'll show you why. With the other ones, we had 5 in a row. Each variation has a weight of 1. So does this. The weight is how many of that sound can play. We're going to go ahead and change this to 4. If you watch, when we push play, it'll create 3 more clones of it, so we can play 4 of this at a time. If we didn't do that, you could only play 1. This gives you strict control over how many of sounds can be played at a time. It was able to play those overlapping. They didn't cut each other off. It's a long sound. These are all assigned to no bus. If I pick new bus, we've created a bus which shows up underneath the group mixer. We can rename it, and we can assign more groups to that particular bus. I don't want to have to do that for every single one, so I'm turning on bulk group changes. Let's check all of them. And now if I mute, solo, adjust volume, it'll happen to all the groups that are checked. I just want to assign the bus to all the groups. So we've done it that way. Turn off bulk group changes. Now this volume here on the bus will affect the volume of all the groups that go through it. It's a math calculation. Also, if you mute or solo here on the bus, it will get all the groups going through it. What I wanted to do is assign a voice limit. So now it says only one voice can play through this bus at a time. If it has already reached the limit when you want to play a sound, it will stop the oldest one to play the new one. It's a good idea to get in the habit of limiting voices because Unity only allows 32 voices at the same time. Yeah, it's cutting the sounds off. I don't like that. Let's go up to 3 voices maximum. That works fine. I'm going to turn on save runtime changes, so when I hit stop, it will actually keep what I did there. That didn't go back to one voice. Now let's hit save. Real quick, I'm going to show you how to put music into the game. Let's close this section and open up the playlist section. Create a playlist controller, and then we need a playlist for it to play. So let's add one. And then we need to find a song to drag in. We'll just call this playlist Game Music. Drag in one song. We're going to make it a resource file, actually. Okay, one song, and loop it. Then we just need to pick the playlist up here to start and hit play. You can see the jukebox there in the inspector. I think the music is a little loud. Let's turn it down here. Turn down all playlists, actually. That's about right. Now when I hit stop, it will save that because we still have save runtime changes on. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.